Today we're going to be talking about Ryusui. Now, Ryusui, I don't know how to pronounce it fully because he hasn't got an anime adaptation yet. So apologies if I get the name wrong, but we're going to be talking about Ryusui from Dr. Stone. So this is, particularly in 2021, and all the shit his character's gone through. I was going to talk about Dr. Stone as a whole this year, and I wanted to do that. I definitely did. But I decided it would probably be best for me to just decide to talk about different characters this year and kind of their development and their importance to the story this year. And I wanted to particularly focus on characters I really enjoyed. So characters such as Ryusui, Senku, Kohaku, and all that. I will do a general overview at some point, but I do want to focus on a few of the main characters first off. So we're going to talk about Ryusui today because he has quickly become one of my favorite characters in the series, and probably I can't say he's my favorite because I do have a lot of favorite characters in this series. It's a very good show. I always love to listen to people's opinions on it, and I also like to hear. I always love to read this series. It's such a good series, such an upbeat series for one, in terms of its overall message, in which Ryusui is a big contributor to that as well. Now, I don't know if I'll be showing manga clips in this. I haven't decided yet, because I don't really want to get copyright stricken. I might show a few images of the character, considering he hasn't gotten an anime adaptation yet. But I won't do too much, because again, don't want the copyright gods being after me, you know what I mean? So yeah. But we're going to get straight into it. But before we do, make sure you like and subscribe, and you'll get more content like this of me just talking absolute crap for, I don't know how long, however long it suits me, you know what I mean? But if you're into that type of stuff, make sure you like and subscribe. And stick around and subscribe. Stick around. But we're going to get straight into it now. So as I'm sure you all are aware, Ryusui is when he's first revived, he's a very controversial character because he's portrayed as the, stereotypical rich kid kind of fella, that kind of arrogant, desires everything. But I also find that we find out through the next couple arcs and later on with his character, his desire for everything is actually a very noble desire. Because his desire isn't malice, you know what I mean? He's not malice or anything, he's never that type of character. He desires the best for humanity, also by desiring the best for himself. He does that in such a way that's very admirable, because in a way we should all be like him in a way. Desire the best out of ourselves and desire the best for humanity. And this year, especially in Dr. Stone, has very well established that line of thinking is a very good way to think about it, right? Because Dr. Stone is kind of a love letter to humanity. If you think about it in a way, it really is. Because it doesn't shy away from the negative parts of humanity and what we do wrong. But it also shows very well the great parts of our lives and what we do to help the world and how good life is. The entire basic premise I take away from Dr. Stone, besides the actual premise itself, is that life is great and we should appreciate different things in life. And different characters appreciate the improvements in different ways. And Ryusui to me is an amazing character for that, because he desires everything. He desires to experience everything. He desires everything in his life, and he'll work to experience anything he can. And you know what? That's an admirable trait, because you want to enjoy life in that way. But he's not, as I said, doesn't show any malice. He's trying to find the best for people and do the best for people. But he also wants to be able to experience everything. And I feel like I agree with that take and everything, because of course you should desire as much as you can, because it keeps you going. A desire and a motivation keeps you going. And he understands that very well. And I think this year has really developed his character in a way, because we get to see more of his humble side later on with the stuff that happens later on in the year, which I won't go into straight away, because I realize I could be going into spoilers, because it's literally the last 5 to 6 chapters, so I'm not going to go into that straight away. We're going to actually talk about something that really helped humanize him in this arc, which was Sai, the introduction of his older brother Sai. Now, I liked this character straight away, okay? I liked Ryusui straight away, because I just agree with his kind of outlook on life, pushed push for desire everything, and you will work your ass off to get it, and you will end up being a better person for it. I agree with that type of outlook on life. But when his older brother was introduced, and obviously he is the younger brother, but the idea of him, the way, like, just wanting his brother's attention and wanting to enjoy the company of his brother, and his brother misunderstanding that in a negative way, it's very relatable in a sense. It hits home quite a bit when it comes to a lot of older brothers are like that. You misunderstand your little brother's intention as their kids, because a lot of the time you start fighting with each other and it causes problems, and then you just isolate from each other. And it's not until you get older that you understand that they just wanted to spend time with you, and they just wanted to be like you in a way, or be around you, or enjoy your company in a way. And that's something Sai comes to realize through Gin, which is actually really sweet. And then they have a chess match. You know what I mean? And it humanizes Ryusui. I apologize if I'm pronouncing his name wrong. I'll put the spelling up on screen right here somewhere, just so you can see how it's spelled. I apologize if I'm getting it wrong, although you'll see what I'm talking about with the thumbnail and all that. But there is something to be said about how it humanizes him and brings him back down to earth for some people who may still not like him because they're not into that whole rich kid kind of vibe. Which I completely understand, because that was what they were setting up originally, his kind of arrogance. But we see, especially in this arc, which I'm mainly talking about this year because I thought that's the idea, We see now later on, after he's been humanized through Sai, we see him finally getting the chance to go up to space, right? He's decided to be the pilot for space, but he realizes that, I'm probably not the best. He's able to humble himself down and understand, I'm probably not the best for this. You know what I mean? And he then decides to talk to Senku about it. And that discussion really is really sweet in a sense. Like, you see how humble he is, but also he's willing to discuss it. He knows the answer, but he wants to discuss it with someone he cares deeply for and make sure they know his reasoning for it. And it shows his humanity even more. He pushes aside his want, his desire to go to space for the greater desire he has for humanity to prosper. You know what I mean? And I think the scene, I know this scene was like amazing. And I've said this many times, but Bocchi is some mastermind at drawing like heartbreaking scenes, like crying scenes, like that, all that type of jazz. And the one where he has his hand over his face, I'm doing it horribly, I do apologize. He has his hand over his face for this one, and it's like this. And honestly, like, the way it was drawn was fantastic. That's what I love about manga. The way they draw their mediums just really hits home in a lot of ways for a lot of people, I would say personally. And the way, like, when they revived Stanley and they were going off, and he thought, like, damn, I really wanted to go bad. And you see him crying. He puts his hand over his face. It's such a lovely panel. And I really think, like, Dr. Stone is one of the best new gen manga out there these days. And characters like Ryusui show how underappreciated it really is. I really hope it did well this year. I really want to see what the sales were like this year. I hope it did well. I hope it cracked 1 million this year. I really do. But Ryusui has done so much for the story, and is the embodiment of humanity's kind of desire and greed in a way, right? But in the positive way that we should all use, which pushes ourselves forward while also pushing everyone else in humanity forward. And if it wasn't for people like Ryusui wanting to improve things and wanting to get as much out of life as they possibly can, people like in real life, those type of people, those surgeons, those millionaires, those type of people, particularly medical field people who desire this type of stuff, I would not have been in the situation I am today, right? Where these people who want to push the industry forward and desire to improve humanity, I would not be in the situation I am today. I would not have been able to have the surgeries that I had to improve my knees and my feet and everything. And they were all put into place because people desire to improve things for humanity and themselves as well. And I think that type of desire has really helped my life in how I live. And I feel like having a character like that really encapsulates humanity in a nutshell. I feel like that's his character. And to show his humility in this arc with that scene, even when he does the shoot thing, and Francine is like, that was a good shot, fantastic from that range, and he's like, it's not me. I think what really encapsulates it though is the final scene in the second to last chapter this year, where Stanley's going onto the rocket and he's like, can you do the job? And they're like, yeah, I can. And that fist bump, before they got on the boat, that is a fantastic scene. Everything about this character I have just loved this year. And I feel like nothing encapsulates it more than those two scenes. So that was my rambling this year about why Ryusui is one of the best characters in Doctor Stone, and his importance to the plot and to the whole theme of Doctor Stone, the desire and the greatness of humanity. I feel like he encapsulates that perfectly. And I wanted to primarily focus on 2021 because I wanted to talk about the moments in that year. You know what I mean? And how it kind of helped improve the series, but also the characters themselves, because it's nearing the end now and we've got to appreciate what we got from Doctor Stone, and I always will. I appreciate all the work that the mangaka and Bochi have put in, and to give us such a great series. Definitely in my top 10. I love this series and I always will. Probably one of my favorite new gen series. Probably my favorite if we don't include One Piece, because that's not new gen. In terms of the new gen, I really enjoyed it. And thank you so much, and you've made amazing characters like this. I'll talk more about other characters, about their arcs these years, and what I have loved about it. But I do want to send some appreciation to how they did Ryusui. And yeah. But before we go, I wanted to thank Bob Duncan for the birthday present, the little on air sign you see there. It's really cool, real professional, you know? That type of stuff. Really like that stuff. Thank you, man. Really appreciate it. Yeah, but with that being said, if you enjoy this type of content and me just talking shit, make sure you like and subscribe for more. And I'll try and sort this out with the pop filter. I know that's a bit weird with it covering my face every now and then, but I'll sort that out. But yeah, make sure you subscribe and like for more, and I'll see you all next time.